Hello, my name is Hafiza and today I will be presenting on the role of social influence in human behaviour. Social influence is an important concept within social psychology because it explains how the presence of others can shape the way that we think, behave and make decisions. Before beginning, here is a brief overview of the presentation. I will first begin by starting to explain what social influence is, before discussing three key concepts: conformity, obedience and social norms. I will then explore how these ideas apply to real-world contexts such as social media, healthcare and workplaces. And finally, I will end the presentation by discussing the strengths and limitations of research into the social influence. So what is social influence? Social influence refers to the way an individual's thoughts, feelings, or behaviours are shaped by the presence of other people. This influence can occur both consciously and unconsciously. Sometimes people are aware that they are adjusting their behaviour, but other times it can just happen automatically. Social influence is considered a central concept within social psychology because humans are social beings who constantly interact with each other. Our behaviour is often influenced by group pressure, authority figures, and social expectations within society. Conformity. Conformity tends to occur when individuals change their behaviour, attitudes, or beliefs in order to match the expectations of a group. One reason people conform is the desire to be accepted and to avoid potential rejection. This is known as normative social influence. Another reason is informational social influence, which can occur when individuals assume that the group knows better than they do. A well-known study demonstrates conformity, and that is the axe line judgment experiment. In this experiment, participants were asked to identify which line matched a reference line. However, even though the correct answer was completely obvious, many participants confirmed to the incorrect answer given by others in the group. Conformity can be seen in many everyday situations. One example is social media trends, where individuals copy behaviours or opinions that appear online. Peer pressure is another example, particularly amongst people where individuals may change their behaviour to fit in with friends or social groups. Conformity, however, can also influence fashion and lifestyle choices as people often adapt styles that are popular within their social group or other social groups. The consumer behaviour is also influenced by conformity, as people are more likely to purchase products that have positive reviews or appear popular than products that seem to have negative reviews and appear unpopular. Obedience. Obedience often refers to following instructions or commands from someone who is perceived as an authority figure. Authority figures often have power, status, or expertise, which increase the likelihood that individuals will comply with their instructions. In some cases, obedience can lead individuals to act against their own moral right judgment. There is a very famous study investigating obedience, and that was conducted by Stanley Milgram. In this experiment, participants were instructed to deliver electric shocks to another person when they answered questions incorrectly. Although the shocks were not real, participants believed that they were harming the other person, yet many continued to obey the authority figure conducting the experiment because they had an incline to listen to a higher authority. Obedience in real life. In healthcare settings, patients often follow instructions from doctors and medical professionals because they are viewed as experts, and by not following their advice, you can potentially become even more unwell. Another example is in workplaces. Employees typically follow instructions from managers, supervisors, or team leaders within the organisational hierarchies. However, on the other hand, the military is another example, where strict chains of command require soldiers to obey orders from higher-ranking officers. Authority symbols such as uniforms, titles, or professional status can increase the likelihood that people will obey instructions. This can be such as the president, the governor, police officers, teachers, anyone with higher titles. What is social norms? Social norms are unwritten rules that guide behaviour within a society or social group. These norms are usually learned through socialisation, which begins in early childhood and continues throughout until the end of life. Social norms help define what is considered acceptable or unacceptable behaviour within a particular group or culture. However, social norms can vary across different societies, meaning that behaviours that are acceptable in one culture may not be acceptable in another. Social norms strongly influence everyday behaviour. For example, public behaviours such as waiting in queues, saying thank yous, or respecting personal space are all guided by social norms. Cultural traditions, on the other hand, are also reinforced social norms across generations. In workplaces, professional behaviour such as punctuality and respectful communication is expected due to established norms, and this can also go for teachers in schools and everywhere else. When individuals break these social norms, they may face social disapproval or criticism from others. Social influence is widely applied across different areas of society. In marketing, businesses use social proof, such as reviews or popularity, to influence consumer purchasing decisions. Social media is a huge platform that also shapes opinion by exposing users to popular content and trends, which can be harmful or useful. Political campaigns uses persuasive techniques and also social influence to shape voting behaviour. In healthcare, social influence can encourage positive behaviours such as exercising or quitting smoking or leading a healthier lifestyle. Moreover, the education systems also use social influence to promote engagement and participation among students. So what are the strengths of social influence research, you may ask? One strength of research into social influence is that it helps explain how individuals behave in group situations. Many studies in this field use experimental methods, which also researches to identify cause and effect relationships. Classical experiments such as those by Asks and Milgram have also been replicated in different contexts, increasing the reliability of the findings. Social influence research also has practical applications in areas such as marketing, healthcare, and education. Limitations. Despite its strengths, research on social influence also has several limitations. For example, some classical experiments raised ethical concerns, particularly Milgram's study where participants experienced psychological stress. Another limitation is that many studies were conducted in laboratory settings which may not accurately affect behaviours in real-world situations. There may also be cultural bias as many early studies were conducted in the Western societies and older generations. Finally, social influence theories may oversimplify complex human behaviour by not fully considering the individual differences. In conclusion, social influence plays a significant role in shaping human behaviour. Concepts such as conformity, obedience, and social norms help explain how individuals are influenced by group authority figures and social expectations. These processes can be observed in many real-world contexts, including social media, workplaces, healthcare, and marketing. Although research in this area has and will continue to provide valuable insights, it also has limitations and requires ongoing studies to better understand the complexity of human behaviour. Before finishing, I do just want to say that it is important to recognise why studying social influence is so relevant today. In modern society, people are constantly exposed to influence through social media, advertising, and group interactions. This means that individuals may often change their behaviour without fully realising it and allow them to do things they would not normally feel compelled to do. In a world like today, TikTok and Instagram play a huge factor in everyday life. Understanding concepts such as conformity, obedience, and social norms allows psychologists to better understand how people behave in group settings. However, this can vary from human to human. It can also help individuals become more aware of how their decisions may be influenced by others, allowing them to think more critically and make more independent choices. Thank you very much for your time today.